All right, on to our final topic of the day. I want to talk about Twitter. For those of you that haven't been addicted to the Twitter phenomenon yet, Twitter's it's a website you go to, and it allows you to tell anyone who's following you what you're doing in 140 characters or less. So about the size of an average text message.
Did you tweet that you're going to be doing this video blog right now?
No, but I should have.
You should have.
Damn it. So if let's say all three of us are on Twitter, I have an account, you two are following me, and I tweet, I'll be doing a video blog today. You guys will, and I push submit, you guys will receive that tweet, and then you guys could respond to me by saying, oh cool, what are you talking about? And there we start a conversation, okay? Anyone that's following any one of us sees all of our conversation, thereby creating like a global conversation, basically. Pretty cool. Pretty cool way to put your finger on the pulse of whatever it is that's on people's minds going on in the world. I wanted to talk about Twitter because something very interesting happened on Twitter the other day. Yahoo let go 1,400 people, and I was curious as to which departments were let go, what teams were let go, what people were let go. So we went on to Twitter, and lo and behold, there was an entire stream of comments and people talking about who was let go from Yahoo, what teams were let go, what blew my mind is the specific people that were let go. They were handed their pink slip. They were asked to leave. They walked out the door. They tweeted that they were just let go. From what team? Everyone in the Twitter world saw that. People responded by saying, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. This, and that. Let me introduce you to this guy. Let me introduce you to that person." And then there starts the networking for their next role, for whatever it is that life will bring them. Yeah. But Twitter started that. Pretty damn cool. When you take that and multiply it by 1,400, multiply it by thousands and thousands of people, it becomes a pretty big deal.
Well, isn't Obama's using Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Twitter.
Is he number one or number two? Number one.
I don't know. Kevin Rose is one of them.
Kevin Rose is up there. Shaq's on Twitter.
Yeah, I follow Shaq.
You want to tell something to Shaq, you get on there, you at the real Shaq, boom, he'll get it. You want to say something to Shaq? Shaq's on there, Britney Spears on there, MC Hammer's on there. I'm following all those guys, so you see, MC Hammer said something the other day. You see what he says. You could respond to him.
Shaq is actually pretty active on it too.
He's super active on it. Yeah.
And he responds to people.
Yeah.
I honestly have nothing to say.
Yeah. I know. Twitter is the most retarded thing on the face of the planet to people who don't use it.
Yeah, you have to use it to understand it. When we first started using it, I'm like, this is stupid. And then once I got into it, it's addicting.
I guess maybe just like Facebook, I can see how it would be completely and utterly addicting, but yet again, okay, so let me ask a question. I am truly naive of Twitter. I think I actually have a Twitter account, and occasionally somebody will be like, I'm following you on Twitter. I have no idea how the hell they even found me to follow me on Twitter, but apparently they did. Anyways, because I think I've posted once, ever. And so that was the first thing about it. How's Twitter ever going to make any money?
They've talked about a couple different ways. So people have done interesting things. Let's say I have 300 followers. That's weak. Kevin Rose has 50,000 followers, for example.
No.
Twitter lets you skin your page, so you could put up any picture you want, anything you want on the back of your page. Kevin Rose, in theory, could sell advertisement space on the back of his Twitter page. He could. A company, if 50,000 people are looking at his Twitter page. This coming from the guy that doesn't think Google can make money off text ads. Well, people aren't going to be clicking on those ads. Maybe they could, maybe they can't. I don't know. But it's the same thing as having like a big, Budweiser banner, right here. If someone's Budweiser's branding this, then it helps further Budweiser's brand.
Fucking Bev. I'm still sore. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's one way they could do it. To be honest, they haven't come up with a business model. They haven't at all.
Okay. Well, which really isn't the topic of this conversation, but that's been one of the things that, as with Facebook, I'm impressed by what they've done, but
I have no, I can't be a proponent of Twitter as a business model. I'm not thinking about them as a business model. I'm just thinking about it as like a useful tool, commodity. There have been people that are on Twitter talk about how Twitter delivers them the news in way closer to real time than any blogs, any news sites, any news television channels, anything like that. Yeah. They're saying the last thing that was going on in Bombay, people were tweeting from inside the hotel, and that's how people were hearing about it before the actual blogs were feeding it to them, before before the news channels were talking about it. So it's literally like a global kind of conscious in a stream of feeds.
It was pretty weird,
That's kinda
but
what it is.
they were actually like on talk radio. A bunch of grumpy old conservatives were saying that Twitter was one of the reasons that John McCain didn't do as well as Obama.
100%.
100%. Because like all the old school guys aren't jumping on board the bandwagon and I guess networking with this huge community.
No, Obama won because of technology.
Yeah,
100% hands down, grassroots.
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah. He's got a weekly Facebook address. Or YouTube.
Weekly YouTube address.
YouTube address, yeah.
Yeah, and he's going to make that part of the campaign. That's one of the reasons I think technology's going to do well while Obama's in office, just because he's a super big proponent of it.
Yeah.
But Twitter, nonetheless, kind of my point of bringing that up is it's made a difference. Well, for the people that have been let go from Yahoo, I was personally mining the Twitter world for those notes. You know, I just got let go. I don't know what to do. I spoke with a real cool guy yesterday. He's like, I had no idea that I was going to get let go. I was so surprised. I do so good. I've always gotten good reviews. This, and that. And
This
here
guy
I am
didn't
getting.
receive 100 phone calls from us telling him he's going to get let go.
No, but they don't believe it. No, but these guys are like, no, I'm not going to get let go. And you know, his team is now being outsourced to Bangalore, right? Crazy. Anyways, it came as a shock to them. So these guys post a note, you call them up, you talk to them, and then you know there goes the networking. So that's clear value delivered to the person, to us, to our clients, to the world from a post on Twitter. Taking that one step further, you know, how do you survive in a troubled economy? How do you find jobs when jobs are so scarce? Network, take advantage of tools like this. You know, become engaged in a community that can deliver some sort of information that you don't have access to otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, it's for the time being seems like a great idea, but I could see this getting so stupid. Like, I could see people like interviewing via Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, you're having a conversation with like all the hiring managers.
Well,
like,
they won't Twitter. They won't interview via Twitter, but they will do background checks on your Twitter account.
yeah, like
See what kind
ask
of garbage
everybody in
they're
your
talking
network like who this guy is. You know?
We had a company that we're trying to do business with, and before they committed doing business with us, they pushed a note out to their Twitter network saying, "Has anyone done business with BINC? Any feedback would be greatly appreciated."
No way.
100%, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
I don't know what they got back. It was probably they got direct private messages back, or maybe no one gave them feedback. I don't know who was in their network, but we did a search on Twitter for BINC, and that's one of the things that came up.
Do we work with them right now?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
So hopefully good things came back.
Obviously, good things came back, or maybe nothing came back. I don't know, but nonetheless, people were relying on Twitter to do that.
Wow.
It just brings down the walls of. It just brings down the walls. Yeah, I mean, let's you have a conversation you can't otherwise be having.
Yeah.
I buy into its value now, today, as it is, and by and large, I buy into its overall value. Like, I think anything we can do to communicate more, but maybe this is getting a little insane, but, real-time microblogging. But, hey, if people are digging it, awesome. I can also see this becoming a quickly fading fad.
Maybe.
Now, I said that about Facebook. Obviously, I blew that one. I could very well be wrong with this. I do tend to catch on to technology trends a little bit later than the rest of my age demographic, I think. But I can see people, like, I played around with it for like a week, I think, and I was like, all right, I'm really over this.
Yeah.
And I can just see other people getting there also, to the point where, like, it's really cool now. It may still be really cool next year, but like, is something like this really going to ingrain itself into, I mean, really, you can say like Facebook is almost ingrained into at least our generation's culture. Like, the guys who graduated from college in the last like 3 to 4 years, I mean, that's almost a part of who you are, is your Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know if Twitter gets there, or even like Facebook, they get there and still don't have a clue how they're ever gonna get off their venture crutch.
I see somebody like Facebook purchasing Twitter and integrating it into their
They should.
They should. It
They
makes a
should.
hell of a lot of sense.
They should, because I was thinking the other day, I update my statuses on Twitter and I update my statuses on Facebook.
Yeah.
I feel like a faker updating the same status on both,
Yeah.
because it just seems like disingenuous, So I'd like to feed my Twitter into my Facebook, so I just update once and then it goes to like both networks or whatever. The value that I get from Twitter is the entire conversation is based on the update. So someone updates 140 characters, someone else updates 140 characters. It's literal just blurbs of thought passed back and forth to create one single conversation. Facebook doesn't really let you do that.
They do kind of. I mean, if
It's
you go to
a
the main
soft
page
one,
and
though.
they say, yeah, it's soft.
soft. It doesn't really let you, like, you have to actually click on people's pages and this and that to really follow them. in Twitter, you don't have to do any of that. You just kind of you just log on to Twitter. Conversations stream. It doesn't really matter who the conversation is coming from. It's like kind of like many people's thoughts come together to create a single kind of consensus. It's weird. It's you have to just like devote some time to it. There is 100% value to be gained from it, at least from a recruiting perspective. Less so from like a personal perspective, in my opinion. But 100% there's value there.
Just
No matter
really
whether we
quick, I
realize it or
know
not.
we're coming to an end, but I can see a lot of these sites integrating LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all these new crazy social networking sites are all gonna, a monster's gonna.
It definitely help us out. It definitely help our lives out.
Oh,
They did.
yeah.
They still got to make money. See you next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.